Hi, everyone. My name is Jade Irving. I serve as the program coordinator for the First2 network. I work at the Higher Education Policy Commission in the Division of Science and Research. Super excited to be on this call with you guys. I just want to give a shout out to the Department of Ed for coordinating all of this and making sure that the word was spread about the First2 network and this informational session. So big shout out to WVDE. I hope that you'll get all of your questions answered during this session. If you think of any questions whatsoever, drop it in the chat. We've got plenty of people from First2 who can answer those questions. And if you are shy, like me, I'm not shy, but if you are shy, you can save your questions until the end and we will have a Q&A session shortly thereafter. This meeting is being recorded, so put on your best smile because we're going to be sharing this recording with you after the session ends. So if you did not register ahead of time, I'm just going to ask that you put your email address in the chat so that we can keep in contact with you and share these resources with you later. All right, so I think that's all I wanted to say to get us started. So I am going to share my screen. All right, so again, thank you so much for being a part of this info session. We're going to try to keep you until 2:45. If not, we'll let you out sooner because I know that Zoom fatigue is a real thing. So we'll try to keep things moving quickly. So before we get started, our partners at the Education Alliance would like to share a word with you about the Promise Scholarship and the FAFSA. So at this time, I am going to hand it over to Education Alliance.
Hi, Jade. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Wow, we got in with the nick of time. It's great to see so many faces out there. And thank you all for having us to be a part of this contest and this webinar today. I'll just tell you, my name's Amelia Quartz and I'm with the Education Alliance. And the Education Alliance is a nonprofit that mobilizes business and community support for public schools. So one thing that we know is the business community believes in a West Virginia ready workforce, meaning that they want students who graduate from high school and are focused on a career and committed to taking those next steps, whether that's a certificate or a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree, to make sure that they're ready for those careers that are waiting for them here in West Virginia. So that's part of our mission, and we've heard, as I'm sure many of you have also heard, that this year the COVID-19 crisis has just really put a challenge for getting students to both apply for the Promise Scholarship and also complete the FAFSA. So in order to maybe hopefully motivate students, we created this contest called Cool Cash for College. It's any high school senior in West Virginia is eligible to participate. If all they have to do is complete the Promise application and file the FAFSA. They don't have to do anything else, don't have to fill out a form, don't have to contact the Education Alliance, don't even have to visit our website. But if they do, then they're automatically entered in this contest. And you can see all the rules at educationalliance.org/contest. It's basically a random drawing, and we've already completed 3 of them. We're on our 4th and final drawing, and each drawing, we choose 10 West Virginia seniors that are going to win their choice of AirPods, mini fridge, printer, and then 25 students win cash for college. So that's a little overview of the contest. Again, it's very simple. We would appreciate you all helping us spread the word, and this is the final push right now. As you know, the deadline is March 1. So it's really important that we don't let students leave money on the table. I mean, the fact that the Promise Scholarship could be really life-altering for some students to help them take the next step and go to college is just so important. So I'm going to pause and see if there's any questions. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. Again, thank you to everyone at First2 for being a partner in this and helping us promote and get out the good word. And we look forward to connecting with all of you. If there's anything that we can do to support your works, just reach out to us at educationalliance.org. Thank you.
Thanks, Amelia. All right, so let's get into it. I have this video here. It's about 1 minute long, and it's just going to talk to us about what is the First2 network.
To create new jobs.
To do so requires an eagerness to innovate
And a willingness to evolve. To adapt the strengths we inherit.
and combine them with a resolve to move forward,
It requires collaboration from different sectors.
offering a chance to emerge from separate corners and progress together.
The National Science Foundation
Through its Includes program, has recognized the need to diversify.
our national STEM workforce
West Virginia was chosen
as a testing ground for new methods and models
to improve access to education, training,
and future job markets.
through Includes, an already diverse community
Is working to support the number of young people
who are the first in their family
to pursue a post-secondary degree
in science, technology,
engineering.
or math,
For those of us who were born here, like me,
who are proud to be here, like me, or who hope to continue working and living here, like me,
we want to continue shaping the opportunities available in our state.
through a network that already exists. If you haven't heard of me,
You soon will.
I am the First2 Network.
All right. So here is a list of some of our partners, people who have, or institutions rather, who are a part of this work that we're doing to support first generation students and underrepresented students as they pursue a degree in STEM. And STEM represents science, technology, engineering, and math. Here and give you just a few definitions of how we define first generation and how we define underrepresented. So we define first gen as a student who their parent or guardian, neither of them have attended college and gotten a 4-year college degree. So no parent has a 4-year college degree. That's what we define as first gen. And underrepresented in STEM are first generation students, women, people with disabilities, African Americans, Hispanic, Latinos, American Indians, Alaska Natives, Native Hawaiians, and other Pacific Islanders. So these are just sort of some definitions to kind of frame what I mean when I say first generation and underrepresented. So all of the logos that you see here, professionals have partnered with us. They have joined in our efforts to help these students succeed and to help create a better economy for our state. So here's some ways to get involved in the First2 network. The summer immersive experiences is the main sort of recruitment avenue that we have to get new rising freshmen on board. And you'll hear all about the immersive experiences here in just a few minutes. The First2 network campus clubs, hometown ambassadors, and you can see this list here. I just want to point out that every opportunity to get involved with First2 that is listed on this screen comes with a stipend. So we want to pay students to be involved in the First2 network because we really, really value student voice and student engagement and student involvement. So one of the key components of the First2 network is that student voice guides the work that we do. So we don't want to do things to students, we want to do things with students, and we want our students to know that we need their voices, we need them at the table to help inform how we do the work that we do. And this picture is just a picture of, I believe, some of our legislative and policy ambassadors at Research Day, undergraduate research day at the Capitol. All right, so let's get into some flash talks about our immersive experiences. So you're going to hear some 2-minute flash talks from the site leaders of this summer's immersive experiences. Again, be sure to take note of any questions that you might have. You can put them in the chat or you can save them until the end of this session and we'll have a brief Q&A. So let's get started with West Virginia University.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cintia Pacheco. I'm the Assistant Director of the Office of Undergraduate Research at WVU and one of the leaders of this summer immersive experience at WVU. I'm very excited to be here and to present these opportunities that you might have during the summer. So WVU will offer 5 different research projects this coming summer. The first research project is about biometrics. Participants in these projects will take photos of calibrated test targets with their cell phone cameras and then compare their results against FBI standard documents to determine if their phone cameras could be used for fingerprint image capture. The second research project is more related to environmental sciences. Participants will collect water samples from different sources in Morgantown, then go to the lab and analyze water quality data to answer questions related to how contemporary land use practices affect the environment. The third one, it's about how zebrafish embryos provide a great experimental model to study neurodevelopment. So it's called Fish in a Dish. In addition to gain knowledge of zebrafish biology and how they are used in research, participants will have an understanding of scientific methods such as hypothesis generation, data collection, analysis of results, conclusions, and also a certification to work with live vertebrate animals in research settings. Next slide, please. Okay. So this other one, it's geography based. In this project, the students will map Appalachian communities' most pressing socio-economic development needs. To this end, participants will be trained in a web-based mapping software and we will identify key local socioeconomic development issues that are not currently reported. And finally, we have this 5th research project in chemistry. For those interested in chemistry, in this project, students will go to a chemical laboratory and synthesize a new product, a new component, which would be, I think it's an acid. And after synthesizing this component, the students will be introduced to the methods to analyze the synthesized product. Besides, in addition to the research activities, participants of WVU immersion experience will have the opportunity to meet with WVU faculty and staff who will be invited to participate in a minimum of 6 group dinners. In these dinners, in these opportunities, we will invite staff from financial aids, student wellness center, First2 faculty members, staff from the Office of Undergraduate Research, including myself, that will present to students opportunities that they have to engage in research in the freshman year at the university. Also, some staff for pre-health office to help students that are interested in health careers such as medicine, dental school, physical therapy, and representatives of Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion will also be talking to students that are involved in the site. Our site will run from July 18th to July 30th, and we have capacity for 15 students. And if you have additional questions, please feel free to leave them in the chat. I will be responding them or send us an email undergradresearch@mail.wvu.edu. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Now we're going to hear a 2-minute flash talk from the University of Charleston.
Hi, everyone. My name's Heather Arnett. I am a biology instructor and a representative from the University of Charleston. So we have 3 projects going here at the University of Charleston this summer. So our 3 projects are really focused on the connection between land and water here in West Virginia, which is a really great thing. So the main project system is looking at the connection between acid mine drainage and the potential effects of that both on the water systems that we have and the potential effects that that will have through some of the land communities that we see. So students will have the potential both to actually go out to a local source up here and collect these samples, both from land and water, and then bring these samples back to the University of Charleston, actually process these samples a variety of ways. You see, they'll actually be able to look at the communities within these water samples and then have the chance to use some both microscopy, some meta barcoding. So we're going to look at some genes. And then use some biolog plates, so some microplates to look at proteins that are in those as well. When they do this, the first week, students will have the opportunity to actually try all three types of things, from coding to lab work, as well as some of the microscope work. And then in the second week, students will have a chance to actually specialize and spend some time in the type of lab that they felt that they resounded most strongly with. So have a little bit of time to work on specific skills. And then I popped on here, I don't know why the one worked and the other didn't, but I do have the contact information for both of us. So as I said, I'm Heather Arnett. Aida Jimenez is not here, but she's also with me. We're actually, in addition to being the site lead, we're also the freshman instructors, which is very nice. So we teach the introductory biology classes. So when you come in, you will be the first people you meet and will also be who you'll spend the most time with in that first semester. If you want to pop the next slide for me, please. Thank you. So in addition to all the research stuff, there's a lot of other things that we'll get to do. So of course, you'll get to spend some time with the faculty. But in addition to that, we'll have a lot of university students popping in and out, particularly RAs and First2 mentors. We'll also have specific talks set up for faculty. We have tours set up with our graduate schools we have around here. We have a pharmacy and physician's assistant graduate school to allow you to kind of tour the additional facilities that are here, as well as some of the capital city engagement activities. So we have some additional kind of fun things that we can do in the little bit of downtime we have, because why not? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Now we're going to hear a 2-minute flash talk from West Virginia State University.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Barbara Liedl. I'm a professor in the Department of Biology, and I guess I'd describe it as the co-pilot of First2 at State. The lead is actually Dr. Michael Fultz. He's the head of our chemistry department, and he's teaching right now, which is why I'm stepping in. So anyhow, so let me tell you about some of the possible research opportunities we'd have at State. Ours is a little different than how University of Charleston's running it, in that you would get, if you came with us, you would go into somebody's lab and be working with that professor, their graduate students, their undergraduates, technicians, et cetera, and work on a project. So the projects we've got this summer are working with Dr. Fultz on ligand synthesis used in water monitoring to detect pollutants in there. He's worked on that project before and has had students involved, including sometimes high school students, not even at the level of coming into college. You could work with me. One of the projects I have is looking at how insecticides affect beneficial insects in behavioral assays. And I've had students work with me on the last couple of years on that. We also have project with our soil scientist, Dr. Haas, looking at the recovery of critical elements from passive acid mine drainage systems in there. His lab is next door to mine, and we have a good time together. He's got a really great crew of people, including some of the First2 students that went through last summer and were part of the immersion program. I also have a couple in mind. You could work with Dr. Reddy on how capsaicin would affect gene expression in fruit flies. And capsaicin, if you don't know, is some of that heat that comes from peppers. Or you could work with Dr. Wu in our computer science department, looking at the new generation of neural networks. In there, he's in particular looking at investigating deep learning on target recognition in images, speech recognition, and prediction of information in there. Or you could work with another faculty in our biology department, Dr. Hankins, who works in cancer biology and is very interested in investigating how hormones affect brain tumors in there. So those are kind of the 6 different projects. We would have the high school students that are rising to become freshmen go and work in those labs in there. And you can see examples of students we actually actively have in the lab right now and previous students that were part of the immersion. And if you can give me the next slide. So you'll interact directly with current First 2 students at West Virginia State University, as well as students that aren't First 2, graduate students, technicians, etc. You'd meet faculty, so you'd know some faculty on campus, and several of the faculty you would be having classes with in the fall. You would meet with the academic support services, so you'd know who to go to, you know what's offered on the campus. We do have recreational and student-led activities, and we've done historically work with Marshall, and you'll hear about that. I'm hoping now that University of Charleston is up and running that we could actually do some stuff with them. The other exciting one for us this summer is Dr. Fultz has been instrumental in getting Clendenin, West Virginia, identified as a National Chemical Historic Landmark. And all the students we will have this summer will be participating in holding that celebration on the last day. And sorry, we do end on the 30th. I don't know what I was thinking in there. So just know we've got lots of possibilities, lots of fun planned for the summer.
Thanks, Barbara. Just want to give a quick time check. We've got about 15 more minutes of your time left. So for the remaining site leads, if you could adhere strictly to the 2-minute time limit. Thank you so much. WVU Tech, you're up.
I just scanned the chat for Sanish. Wonder if Sarah might take these slides because I'm not
I can
seeing.
see that Tyler is trying to talk, but Tyler, we can't hear you, buddy. So Sarah might have to talk for him in the interest of time.
Sure, I'm happy to talk. Tyler, if you can make your sound work, just start talking over top of me, and that would be amazing. So WVU Tech joined the First2 network last year as a summer site that is really focused on computer science and has some wonderful, one of the things that people haven't talked about yet are the older students that are part of the summer program. So you're working with older undergraduates who are really working with you in the lab, hanging out at night, exploring, adventuring. And those older mentors are just such a wonderful connection to your field of study, to a college campus. And so this is in Beckley, and they are working on programming basics, a lot of stuff with machine learning and solar panel tilt angles. It's a really exciting part of WVU Tech, and we were so happy to bring on a partner last year that's really focusing in on computer science. But if computer science is something that you're interested in, and you're going to go to Marshall, for example, then Dr. Mike Norton will help connect you, because we all want to make sure that you're studying things that you're interested in, connecting with communities that you're going to be working and learning in, whether that's the field of study or the place that you are. Next slide. And so this is a chance for me to just talk about these other elements. We've talked a lot about research in the previous things. I know we're short on time, but you guys, there is a big emphasis here on team building, building a cohort, we talked some about making dinners together, but also potentially going to panic rooms and doing community service together and really building a wonderful network of peers and also of the people that you're going to be working with as a freshman in their classroom, in their labs, as a sophomore. Wonderful support system for you, and really about half of the
Tyler could
experience.
say hi now. I think we have Tyler's audio. He could say hi briefly, and then we got to move on.
Great.
Yes, I'm so sorry about that. Right. So you'll have the chance to work with programming and machine learning with Dr. Rai, solar panel tilting, and load voltage with Dr. Haptipoglu. You'll get a chance to meet some of the great deans and department chairs here at Tech, and kind of learn the feel of the school, because it is a rather unique university.
Thank you so much, Tyler and Sarah, for hopping in there. Now we're going to hear from the Green Bank Observatory.
I do think Sarah's taken those slides as well, because Sue Ann's on a review panel today. Sarah, you got that?
Sure. Green Bank Observatory. I hope all of you have gotten a wonderful chance to go to Green Bank Observatory. It is so cool, and it's one of the outstanding observatories all across the world, where they study the universe and the mysteries of the universe with radio astronomy. Next slide. So the Green Bank Observatory is building a new radio receiver for the Green Bank Telescope designed to study pulsars and detect gravitational waves. Some people in West Virginia like to talk about Green Bank because they're also in a partnership to study alien life. And several people students who have worked at Green Bank have been able to discover new pulsars. I know that our students that were there before got to build their own like homemade telescopes and continue to do research mapping the universe. And so you get to work with world-class astronomers, scientists, machinists. It's a wonderful, wonderful place. They have a wonderful education center, and they also have a really strong partnership with WVU. So if you're interested in radio astronomy, if you're interested in engineering, computer science, these are all great pairings at Green Bank Observatory. Next slide.
Thank you, Sarah. Now we're going to hear from Marshall.
Hi, I'm Mike Norton. I'm the representative for the Marshall site, and I just put my contact information, norton@marshall.edu, in the chat. Our camp is from July 18th through July 30th, like many of the other ones. I'd like to just emphasize a couple of aspects of the program that students have found to be valuable. Because there's research and there's the social aspects. First is this meeting with professors. Every couple of days, we introduce you to a new faculty member that may be your research mentor in the future, or may just be your teacher in a classroom. And students report that they're much more able to ask questions of a faculty that they met in a very informal setting. The second one, or a second topic that students found useful is, of course, this is a network. So you'll have students that are juniors and sophomores that have already gone through the program, but they've also gone through many of the classes that you'll be experiencing. So that's valuable. Next slide is about the research. So if you're interested in biology, we'll be doing cell culture. We do emphasize techniques because we do recognize that students may not be doing the particular research that they're doing during this 2 weeks during their next 4 years. Some students actually do research at Marshall for 4 years as an undergraduate. So biology is one area of emphasis. Another one is biochemistry. So we make objects out of DNA, which is an unusual way that you could utilize DNA. We also have an area for physics. We do try to adjust the topics and the groups according to interest of students. So right now we don't know what who those students are going to be and what their interests are going to be, but we try to have a broad portfolio of options for students. Usually they work in groups from 2 to 3, as in our middle slide, we have 3 people. I'm a microscopist. We try to make microscopy available to everyone. So in the lower right-hand side, there's microscopy. Thanks very much, and hope to see you at Marshall.
Thanks, Mike. High Rocks Educational Corporation, you're up.
Hi guys, my name's Amy Matheny. I'm a forest pathology research assistant at WVU, but in the First2 world, I work with High Rocks in their wilderness campground in Pocahontas County, West Virginia. We're going to be focusing mostly on forest ecology and forest pathology. So we will be assessing the short and long-term health of the High Rocks Wilderness Campground using dendrochronology, which is basically we can look back through a tree's rings and figure out how it grew in certain years. Forest entomology with my colleague Brian Lovett, who's here. He's an entomologist that's looking at insects. Forest mycology will look at and culture fungi and bacteria. Environmental microbiology, we will be using microscopy to assess some of the microbes we'll be looking at, do forest measurements, and all of that good stuff. They actually have oak wilt, which is a really exciting pathogen to look at on their campus, which is this picture in the upper left-hand corner. So it's going to be really exciting. And I will let Samantha talk about our next slide.
So I just wanted to talk a little bit about what makes the High Rocks Immersion site unique and who should be excited to apply for our particular experience. The High Rocks site is unique within the First2 network because rather than being based on a traditional educational campus, our research experience happens within a larger wilderness summer camp called Camp Steel that takes place each summer on our 200-acre campground property. This camp is an annual tradition where young women from across the state come together for 2 weeks to unplug, explore, adventure, connect, and learn together. At the High Rocks site, you won't just be immersed in research, you're going to be immersed in learning and in the outdoors. Outside of the research classroom, you're going to work with other like-minded young women to gain the skills and abilities vital to success on your college campus. We wake up with the soft dew on the ground, we eat lunch with the chattering squirrels, we find hidden waterfalls in our free time, and we round out each day with a roaring campfire and some of the brightest stars that can be found in the whole entire world due to our remote nature. And we can't wait to see you there.
Thanks, Amy and Samantha. Now we're going to hear from the WV School of Osteopathic Medicine.
Thank you. Tough to follow the lunch with the squirrels, but I'll do my best. So this is actually showing the 2021 experience, so I'll just go ahead and start there. So basically what we're doing is switching up from what we did last year, which is what I'll go on to in the next slide. But so what we're doing this year is looking at soil samples. So we have designed a program to where students can really take the reins from start to finish of an entire research program. So what that means is that you'll actually be coming in and developing your own hypotheses. We'll sit you down to some lectures and teach you the basics to what you need to know, what's important in terms of what makes a good soil sample, what makes one soil sample better than the other, etc. And then you can formulate your own hypotheses. For example, maybe you want to test whether soil next to a lake is better than soil that you find next to a river in terms of growing plants or growing certain plants or whatever. Then we're going to let you test that hypothesis. So you're going to actually take those samples, you're going to put them through the ringer. We'll teach you what tools you have at your disposal and how to use those tools. For example, what you're looking at here are some pH tests, some acidity. So you look at the acidity, the nitrogen content, etc. And you can objectively show if one of those is better than the other. So that's kind of an outline of our project this year. This was taken from how we developed our program last year, which if you can go to the next slide, will show, basically we did a similar thing due to circumstances that I'm sure you're all aware of that we didn't have control over. We kind of had to go to a project that would allow us to utilize a lot of data. And so we needed everyone to produce their own data and do so from across the state. So individuals were able to go out and collect water samples from wherever their house happened to be. And then we did similar tests. We had the students test for pH, turbidity, oxygen content, etc., including microorganisms. So actually that bottom left picture there is showing algae, that's those strand-like formations, as well as a single-celled organism there in the middle, that banana-shaped thing. So we let them identify single-cell organisms. So that's kind of a look at what we're going to do this year. That'll be supplemented, of course, with meeting a bunch of different faculty here at the osteopathic school, as well as professional development lectures along that entire experience.
Thanks, Chris. All right, at this time, we are going to hear from our wonderful First2 Network students. They are not speaking on behalf of themselves, but they are representing all students of First2 Network. I just want to point out that it is 10:40, and I realize that we only have you guys until 10:45. So if you need to log off and go about your business, that is absolutely okay. Again, we will make this recording available to you. At this time, First2 Network students, you've got it.
Hi, my name is Alicia Joseph, and I'm the Marshall University campus lead. Some benefits that I feel like from being a part of First2 during the academic year and campus clubs are the stipended pay. There are several outreach events and several other activities that you can be involved in that you can be funded for attending. And it's really helpful throughout the semester whenever you have opportunities like that for money. I feel like something else that is really helpful is the fact that we arrange time for you to meet with professors. And we also have tutoring sessions amongst all the campuses, which can help you with your classes in the future.
Okay. So also what First2 clubs do is they build a community, and it helps by having the upperclassmen of the club help the newer students who are freshmen, as well as the upperclassmen helping other upperclassmen who need it. And also they build a community through doing fun activities together. Like I can recall we did like a group session of us just all playing Among Us just to vent out and de-stress. I think that being able to find other students who are in the same situation as you and having mentors who have been through it with you can be great for them to give you advice year round. And WVU First2 is a great example of this. They have their mentors plan and meet with older students and younger students. They plan fun events, and they are all friends who support each other through all of their struggles through STEM. And yeah, moving on to the next slide, sorry.
Okay, hi, I'm Gabby. I'm a campus lead at Fairmont State University. Just one of the couple things that we wanted to touch base on for the statewide First2 network is that we get so many different opportunities as undergraduates compared to other people who are not in our organization. Like at most universities, you have to be a junior or senior to even start to do research like that you want to do to help you succeed. Whereas First2, we get the opportunity to do some really amazing and cool research opportunities as freshmen and sophomores. And also, as it was said before, you do get paid for it, which is great. Another benefit that we thought that was really good was that you get to make connections with other people with really diverse backgrounds. I personally met people all across the state and even across the country, and they're so amazing and they're so willing to help you succeed in college and in your future careers. And lastly, just one of the things that we wanted to touch base on is that the statewide student network, it's really, you get to go to some really cool conferences. I know that the last in-person conference we were able to go to, it was at Stonewall Jackson, and it was just so beautiful. And you don't have to, you work like mainly throughout the day, but you get so much free time and you get to interact with your peers and other mentors that you get to see. And you also have opportunities, to go all over the country. So if you have any questions from like a student's opinion, me, Alicia, or Ethan can ask or can answer any of those during like the Q&A.
All right, thank you, students. So very quickly, I want to get into how you can apply for one of these research opportunities. So first, you'll go to www.first2network.org. Under the Students tab, where you see that red arrow, you'll just scroll down to Summer Research Internship, and you will click that. It will take you to this page, and you will select Apply for an Internship. If you would like to see a summary of what you heard today, in terms of the research topics that will be taking place, then you can select the internship sites and it'll give you that information. But for the purposes of applying, you will select apply for an internship and it will take you through this page and you will be able to apply. I want to encourage you guys to join us on our website and also follow us on social media at First2 Network. We want to be in touch with you. At this time, the floor is open for any questions. Right at 10:45, that's not bad at all. So I'm going to stop sharing and look at your faces and see if anyone has any questions whatsoever.
I'm going to jump in not first with a question, if somebody can take that in the chat, but just a reminder. So I'm a math coach in Pocahontas County half-time. And if you're a teacher on this call, if you're a high school teacher or a school counselor of high school students, we do have a working group called College Readiness that's working on building a better bridge specific to STEM readiness between high school and higher ed. And if you'd like to reach out to us and find out a little bit more about what it means to join that working group, there are stipends also available for teachers who would like to help us improve across the state.
I feel like we had a question earlier in the chat about who were the students that were eligible for this. And so I just want to unpack that for everybody a little bit, because I know that that's something that can be a little bit confusing. So there are 3 things that we're looking for in students to get involved with the First2 network. The first one is, are you first generation? So we say first in your family, but we don't actually mean first in your family if you had a sibling that went, or a cousin that went, or a grandmother that went. It's if neither of your custodial parents has a 4-year degree. So if your mom has an associate's degree and you know your dad has a certification in something, we're looking to try to really support students whose families haven't had the experience of going all the way through that 4-year degree, and people that are underrepresented in STEM. So that's number 1. Number 2, that you're majoring in a traditional STEM major of science, technology, engineering, math, computer science. We hope someday to expand to all of the health sciences, but we are not there yet. So traditional STEM majors. And number 3, that you're going to school in West Virginia.
Okay, I will leave the floor open for about 15 more seconds, just in case a question should come to mind.
I see a question in the chat I could read for you guys to answer.
Okay.
It says, are these programs site specific, or can students from one school attend another school's program?
Great question. I'm going to give that to Sarah because I think she kind of touched on that when she spoke.
Sure. Well, we definitely want to include everybody, and we don't have sites at every college and university that people might be going to. So we really try to be inclusive of those students. We have found that if students can go to a site where they are really drilling into their discipline or really drilling into the campus where they're going to be, that really helps them the most. So I would really encourage students to be looking at sites that are really matching their academic and career interests and really furthering that, or the place where they might be going to college.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Well, if there's nothing else, I don't want to hold you. Again, thank you so much for your time. Another huge thanks to the Department of Ed for coordinating this. And we will definitely be in touch. Someone asked in the chat, but I'm sure somebody else might be thinking this question: will the video recording of this session be available? Yes, yes, yes. So if you registered to attend this session, it will be sent to that email address. If you did not register to attend this session, I ask that you please input your email address in the chat so that we can make sure that we get that to you and that we are in touch with you. So again, thank you for your time. It's a beautiful day today, as if the weather didn't try to kill us last week. So I say go and just enjoy. Have a wonderful day. We will be in touch with you with some next steps. And that's all. Have a good day. Bye.